Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be looking at Tundra.Nine's Arc Warden. Yesterday, if you didn't see the video, we watched Tundra33's Titan Hunter. That was a banger video, had a lot of fun making that one, and hopefully you learned quite a bit about Titan Hunter and 33 as a player. But today we're going to be looking at 9, who is currently invisible. Thank you, Dota, and your great replay system for never fixing this bug. It's really fun. Either way, I want to look at this hero. Just to give a brief lowdown on why I think they picked the hero, the enemy team has very limited catch. Bristle doesn't really get to the backline. Lesh sort of doesn't get to the backline. He can buy Blink, but still, he doesn't really burst backliners. You're always going to be able to get your BKB off, your Glimmer, your Pipe, your Force Stat, whatever you're going to use to save Arc Warden. Lesh isn't going to prevent you from getting that off. Neither is Tusk, neither is Chen, and they finally last picked Morphling to sort of deal with Arc. I think it was mostly just a tempo thing for Secret, but basically, Tundra has a good amount of frontliners, right? CK can kind of frontline, Marcy frontlines with BKB. Visage is practically a frontliner with Wraith Pact. Even Phoenix can go in an egg. So they kind of needed a hero to sit in the back. I don't know if they could have picked Drow. I guess they already had CK, so you don't want Drow mid, right? And Sniper was banned. If they could have picked Sniper, they would have picked Sniper. But considering Sniper was banned, their option for backline damage dealer went to Arc Warden, right? They were thinking, okay, we have our Wraith Pact hero, because this is a very common theme for Tundra. They have a Wraith Pact hero, or like a unit hero that can run around and win the early fights. They have a scaling illusion carry. Not that that's required, but they like that type of hero. And then they would have like a ranged damage dealer mid. And that's not always the case, because they still played Tusk, and I think they played Pango a ton. But often you would have some sort of ranged damage dealer or Initiator. And the Initiator is more in the safe lane role this game. So they have the Arc Warden and their damage dealer as the mid lane. So the pick kind of rounds out what Tundra likes to do. Now in the lane, I'm not going to cover too much. Basically, when the creep is about 2/3 HP, the range creep, you're going to put the Spark Wraith on it. And then when it's about half HP, you're going to auto-attack and let the Spark Wraith kill it off. And then outside of that, all he's going to be looking to do, and what he does well in this lane against Nisha's Morphling, is pull a ton of creep aggro. You are at a damage disadvantage for the majority of the lane, and so if you don't pull enough creep aggro, you're actually going to get into a situation where you're constantly getting denied. But once again, secure the range creep aggro, hit, creep aggro, messed up actually, but creep aggro, rinse, repeat, and this is how this matchup goes. That's all he's basically going to do. And just for some perspective, he never casts Flux in this lane. He's not going to really try to pressure out a Morphling. That's not going to work. It's a waste of time. He's going to save all of his mana for Spark Wraiths and use them to secure the range creeps. From there, in terms of items, he goes as greedy as humanly possible. A very common item against the Morphling mid is stick or raindrops, right? Both to deal with adaptive strike spam. However, he doesn't go for either of them. He just rushes Gloves of Haste straight into Midas. No boots, no wand, no raindrops, just Midas. And I will say, I think it's greedy because they do have Tusk, right? So even here, he was really afraid to go for the rune. He was really afraid of dying and getting chased down. So he had to give up the water rune to Nisha's Morphling, and I was surprised. I was surprised that he went for this greedy of a build, right? Not opting to go for a stick or raindrops. In my opinion, I want to even call it a mistake, because he kind of needs the mana. As you can see, when you go a build like this and you don't get a rune, your mana pool is screwed, and he is getting pressured pretty hard by Nisha. And funny enough, he actually does even end up walking to base. So not even considering going for the 6-minute rune, understands that a Tusk rotation is very likely, and that Tusk rotation would most likely kill him. So all in all you do is sit mid. I'm not going to cap. Let's move on to the mid game, because frankly, the mid lane is literally just, if the hero can be pressured and you hit level 6, okay, flux them with both heroes and spam Spark Wraiths. That's all you need to do. If it's like a Lina or an SF and you have a +1, or if they just overextend and you can get off Flux without them stunning you or raising you, then cast your abilities. Spam it when you hit level 6. Outside of that, you don't really pressure most heroes in lane. You can auto-attack melee heroes, but you're not really going to kill anyone for the most part. So just focus on getting level 6, getting as many CS as possible, and just chilling. And from there, even against Nisha, one of the best mid laners in the world, 9 is able to get a 745 Midas, which he's going to instantly pop, waste no time. And apparently Midas gives you guaranteed neutral items. I forgot about that. but I was reminded by one of the casters at TI. Pretty cool. And instantly after getting the Midas, the bonus 160 gold times 2 instantly basically gets him boots. Not literally, it's 320 gold, but you get the point. Gets him very quick boots. Now here was the weirdest situation in the game. They brought their mid laner to bottom and sent the Visage mid. And I think the main reason for this is it's way safer to play bottom because you're further away from both side lanes, so you can't get collapsed on. Right? On top of that, Visage doesn't want to lane against Bristleback at all, because if Bristleback is in the Visage lane, Bristleback can just basically run at the Visage and take all the camps away. He'll shove in the wave, take the nearby camps, and Visage will get out-farmed by Bristleback pretty hard. So by sending the Arc Warden here, Arc Warden can contest Bristleback pretty handily, right? Does he have his Vanguard yet? Probably, right? So you can't really pressure him with your right clicks, of course, but considering the fact that you have two, high damage nukes, you could potentially threaten the Bristleback at least a little with the help of the Marcy and the nukes. Especially when Tempest Double comes out, they certainly can spam Spark Wraiths and bully this Bristle. So it kind of prevents, right, him laning bottom, enables Visage to, farm the triangle and avoid the Bristleback griefing all of his farm. And then on top of that, it allows him to kind of pressure the Bristleback, right? He'll spawn the Tempest Double. And anytime you spawn Tempest Double, it does not share mana with your main hero. So Nine is going to spam the Spark Wraiths practically off cooldown to scout out potential ganks and rotations. That's one of the main benefits of Arc Warden, right? Because of the fact that your hero's Spark Wraiths can hit people when they're smoked, it's really, really broken at sieging, towers, taking areas, just in general farming, right? Or doing whatever you want. It gives you information. So he's going to spam it when he summons the Tempest Double because it doesn't cost him any mana. And from there, all Nine is going to do is farm. I'll skip ahead more towards the team fights now because I just wanted to cover this bottom side rotation that I thought was really fascinating. Also keep in mind he did take the tower. I'm not showing it to you guys because all he did was Spark Wraith the trees, which I kind of mentioned earlier. If you're going to push a tower or you're going to farm an area, Spark Wraith every single TP location, entrance, stairway, whatever it is, just Spark Wraith everything if the enemy team is not showing. If they are, you can conserve your mana a little bit and, use it to farm. But if they're not showing, which in pro games the enemy often won't show and you have to be afraid, then you want to use it to protect yourself. And you can see he does that here. Right? Spark Wraith, afraid of the potential smoke gank. Spark Wraith, zoning out the area, and only when he sees the Tusk top and Lesh top does he feel comfortable to hit this, because he understands that the Tusk is his main threat. Morphling alone is going to have a hard time killing him, right? But with the Tusk Lesh can kill him, and Tusk Bristle can kill him, and Tusk Morph can kill him. But honestly, that's the only real main way he can die. So once he sees the Tusk, you can see instantly he goes from playing pretty passive, being very defensive, to pushing up. And that's a sign of a really, really top tier player. Most people kind of just walk around and it's based on nothing. They're not watching the minimap, and that's why they're just not that good at the game, right? Like, they don't push their limits, they don't push side lanes very far, and they don't know what actually threatens them or kills them. You have to know what threatens you. If you don't know what threatens you, you can't be good at the game because you can't push your limits, right? You can't push your limits. You'll just always be afraid. Like everyone I coach, if they're playing a greedy hero and they're pushing out side lanes, they play like a wuss, right? They don't farm very much, they play like a wuss, they don't put pressure on the map, they don't do shit. They don't do shit. So what he does here, I like this play. Finally, when they actually do rotate over, he has a good ward here. It is nice. You can even buy your own ward if you're going to secure an area like this, which, by the way, you don't want to sit mid on Arc Warden typically. Generally, it's good to push out a side lane because you can do it safely with your Tempest doubles. It's quite good. But yeah, once they do rotate in, and he's a little bit afraid of getting ganked, he's naturally going to leave a Tempest double, clean up the wave of the Tempest double, and rotate out, back towards the Dire jungle. Gets a little bit lucky on the Pupil's Gift. Great item to help out your mana pool and your HP pool. And from there, he's going to rush Gleipnir. I really do love the casual Windlace, I will say. On heroes like Arc Warden that are absolute snails, Windlace really helps you avoid ganks and just move from camp to camp. So I think if you're not buying casual Windlace, it's really powerful. And now let's take a look at the Gleipnir and why you're actually going to buy this item. Honestly, you're an absolute nuisance with Gleipnir. Like, it's a hellish item to play against. For instance, here in this clip, you'll see the Leshrak's going to walk over, leads in, and this is basically always the combo. You're going to select with your Tempest Double first, just to send that one up, preventing yourself from going out of position. You're going to Tempest Double with your main hero. Then you're going to Spark Wraith, Flux whoever you're going on. From there, with the main hero, you can do the same thing. And now they've been Gleipnired for 4 seconds. They have to tank a Flux and a Spark Wraith, and that's why this hero is just so annoying. From out of your vision, he does half of your health, right? If it's a support, he solo kills you from completely out of vision. And by the way, those Gleipnirs are in an AoE and do quite a bit of damage, which is why this build is very powerful. On top of that, you kind of have to buy Maelstrom nowadays on Arc Warden, because as far as I'm concerned, the proc damage doesn't get reduced. However, if you don't know, Arc Warden's illusions do 50% damage if they're more than, 2,000 units away from you. They have to be really far away, like keep that in mind, really far away, but if you're like botsing them around, you won't be able to kill the wave effectively unless you have a Maelstrom to proc, because that doesn't get reduced as far as I'm concerned. This team fight doesn't end up going well, but I would like to talk about his execution, some mistakes potentially he even makes. One thing I will say is when you're using your Gleipnir, try to hit multiple heroes. Like, I would have preferred to see him try to Gleipnir Puppy as well. Just get the chip damage, get the control. It's such a long cast range on Gleipnir that you can look to do that. So, yeah, unfortunately he has to kite out. You want to be like, even here, he's probably a little bit too far up, right? If your front laners are here, typically you don't want to be next to them, right? I will even say that he's probably a little bit too close. They even end up getting jumped, and now, like, he's way out of position. Like, I'll be honest, he should be, like, here right now. There's no reason for him to be here. He absolutely should be in this, upwards towards the top tree line. And then from there, yep, team fight's pretty simple. You just throw out Spark Wraiths and Gleipnir. You only auto-attack when the people around you are, like, a third HP. Other than that, you kind of need to kite out and just play around Spark Wraiths. You don't want to auto-attack for the most part. You generally will lose the team fight as you don't have a single real defensive item. And Magnetic Field typically isn't good enough to keep you alive early on. So just, yeah, kite the outside, play around Spark Wraiths, play around Gleipnir. And really, the burst damage hasn't been too notable up until now. You really see it come out. The Gleipnir into the Tusk prevents the snowball, which is pretty huge. And then from there, they're able to take down Resolution. They get, that CK damage was nasty. And then Spark Wraith onto the Morphling, finishing him off as well. So just a great overall fight from Nine. It's a pretty simple hero. Like, it might seem daunting to try to play this hero. It's a little bit hard to spam Spark Wraiths on your main hero and your Tempest double. It is honestly difficult, and like split pushing effectively is difficult and requires a ton of map awareness, but other than that, like for the most part in the fights, you're kind of just button mashing Spark Wraiths, and if you get decent at it, you're gonna have a lot of impact in the fights. From there, he picks up Boots of Travels. From there, he's gonna pick up some bots, and he's gonna look to basically just split the map. You're playing for giga timings. Like, Arc Warden wants the game to go 35-40 minutes, especially because of his talents. If you get to level 20, your Spark Wraiths do a pretty significant more amount of damage, and you can buy Ags to make them respawn, which is pretty cool. It's pretty strong. He doesn't do it this game, unfortunately, but also at level 25, you either get 12-second Tempest double duration, which is so much. I think it's permanent uptime. Okay, not permanent, but pretty close to permanent uptime, or 50% Tempest double cooldown reduction, which includes items and abilities, right? So you can just spam the hell out of Spark Wraiths and Flux and Midas and bots and so on on your Tempest double if you want to go that route. So yeah, both are really powerful. But even here, keep in mind your hero is straight up an initiator, right? Because Gleipnir prevents a lot of abilities, such as Tusk Snowball in this game. Could also prevent things like, Ember sliding, Storm zipping, whatever it is, and he buys a Blink Dagger, and that's so he can just get his Tempest double in. Because you don't really have to worry about your Tempest double dying for the most part. Obviously, if you completely overextend and just feed it, that's stupid and bad. But for the most part, you want to initiate with your Tempest double in the mid to late game and use it as a way to provide information, vision, and of course the initiation with the Gleipnir for your team. That's what he does there. From there, at this point in the game, you will spend a lot of time just splitting and clearing all the waves. It's your job as Arc Warden to snowball and provide your team with information by split pushing. You don't want to just follow your team around. For instance, here, he's going to send the illusion to bottom, popping the magnetic field for attack speed and evasion. If you don't know how this ability works, basically whatever is inside of it for 6.5 seconds, which is a really long duration. For 6.5 seconds, you get 120 bonus attack speed if you have your shard. Wait, right? The shard gives bonus, or is it a talent? No, it's the talent. So at level 10, you take flux cast range. At 15, you take magnetic field attack speed. And it makes it do 120 attack speed bonus. That is insane. And it works on your teammates. So if you have a drow going high ground, or a sniper, or a CK this game going high ground, I think it even works on Visage birds, which is nasty if it does. That's crazy. I'm not sure. We'll try to pay attention to it in a fight. That would be crazy. 120 attack speed on birds? Nasty. That would be actually nasty. But yeah, you want to clear waves like this. And the way you do it is by using Gleipnir on the wave, right? For instance there, he Gleipnirs the wave, clears it out. Yeah, Lesh kills the Tempest double, but he gives the information, right? Oh, okay, Lesh is bottom, right? Lesh cannot be here, and he's going to keep farming like crazy, as now he picks up an Octarine, decreasing the cooldown of Blink, Boots of Travel TP, Gleipnir, Midas, Spark Wraith, Magnetic Field, Tempest double, Flux. It's insane how valuable this item is. And now Tempest Double is nearly 100% uptime, meaning you can push in waves like crazy. So the game becomes quite a bit easier, which is why Lesh is Arc Gordon is a very good pub hero, because typically, if people get split pushed in pubs, no one knows what to do. You're going to TP back the wrong heroes, someone's going to get isolated, and things are going to feel bad. But with Arc, you just tell your team, hey, I'll do it. Never TP back. Never TP back. Right, and yeah, you're going to get hunted by good players. You see the Morphling trying to kill it, because it does give 300 gold. It's quite a lot of gold, but let's actually see. Oh, does it work? Please hit. That looks like it works. Oh my god. That's a crazy combo for sieging. With the AC as well, and then Great. Oh my. These birds, and they can get sidekicked. This is a crazy Visage combo, actually. Look at that. He's going to do it. Hit the building. Wait, I want to see it. Hit the building. Oh, look at that damage. He did like a third of the barracks HP in like 1 second. He actually why did he resummon? That was kind of crazy. His bird usage is so weird to me. Honestly, it's so weird to me, but that's not what we're watching here today. CK gets Ghana. I think this fight actually goes kind of bad, but main thing, just play on the outside. Let your Tempest double do the work. And that's part of the reason why you buy Octarine. Makes it 100% uptime, close to it. So you just run it in, right? You just kind of put it in. Honestly, you probably put it a little bit too far there. At this point, the Morphling does too much damage, where it's a bit of a problem. But yeah, just kiting the outside, Gleipnirs to force the BKB, or at least try to bait it. Midas's mid-fight, you gotta love the efficiency. And he's just tossing out nukes. It can feel a little bit bad if your team's dying and you're sort of just tossing out nukes, but you can't really do too much about it, and he still hasn't really hit his peak. He still can buy Ags, Overwhelming Blink, and of course Hex, so that's something to keep in mind. And yeah, now he buys Hex. And when you have Hex, you just set up in side lanes or just go for pickoffs, right? For instance, here, they catch a Leshrac, double Hex, done, right? It's just great. I mean, double Hex is so hard to play against in the late game. It's 7 seconds of disable, and you're giving whoever's going on him 120 attack speed. Like, he's probably not living. And you can solo kill people as well. If it's the right hero, you absolutely can solo kill them. Like, no doubt you can solo kill them. But time and time again, he's going to send his illusion down the side lanes. Don't push out mid. Don't push out mid. Do you see 9 pushing out mid? No, you don't. You don't see 9 pushing out mid. Want to know why? Because anyone can push out mid safely. Like, generally safely. You know what I mean? Relatively safely. Compared to the side lanes. Anyone can do it. Because then they can also stay with their team. You can push out the side lanes. If you are the guy who pushes out side lanes and has bots, do it. It is your job. You will have the most impact in terms of overall gold and information that you're providing to your team. Please do that. Right, once again, sending the illusion to bottom, just clearing it up, right, and making an absolute problem for Secret in terms of their side lanes. They're always busy clearing it out. And yeah, now he has the Hex up, and they're going to look to jump. Goes in, finds the Morphling with the Hex. Great snowball to save. From there, they have the Wraith Pact on the high ground, and you can see how far away he is. He's a little bit afraid of the Lesh going in, but sees him now. From there, he's going to cut out a little bit, wait out the BKBs, right? When the BKBs end, your hero is one of the worst heroes in the game to play again. It's so rough. Right, it's so rough because of the constant Gleipnirs, Hexes, so on and so on. So the BKBs are over, which is why they're still hunting here. They're like, hey, we got, you know, their BKBs down. There you go, Hex onto the Morphling. Good snowball. They kind of bait out the snowball. That snowball was kind of deep. I guess I understand why he did it, though. He was afraid of the Morphling getting double hexed. And there you go, right? One Hex, one Gleipnir makes the enemy panic, turns into a bad snowball, and then the game gets really weird. On top of that, it is good to save your teammates. And keep in mind, Magnetic Field can work against melee heroes, right? It can work against melee heroes. As long as you put it on the edge of your teammate, even melee heroes will miss. So it doesn't only counter ranged heroes, it counters all of the heroes. as long as you place it well. So do use it as a save ability. Magnetic Field is good to put on right clickers, especially ranged right clickers who can just plunk away. And it's good to save your melee cores or melee tanks as they go in. And yeah, he kind of just keeps farming as he finds the double Hex on the Rezo here. Very easy execution. Hex, Hex, Hex. Marcy takes him out. Beautiful kill. Level 24, 6k gold out of nowhere. As he actually changes his mind, goes Overwhelming Blink. I don't really know exactly the reason why. I think the Axe honestly kind of is better. If you don't know what the Axe does, if someone procs the Spark Wraith, it makes another one on top of it. Only to 2, right? Then it will go away. But it's just Spark Wraith, Spark Wraith, Spark Wraith, Spark Wraith. And it's a buffed up Spark Wraith because of level 20. And if you take the level 25 Tempest double cooldown reduction, which generally you will, it's just Spark Wraith, Spark Wraith, Spark Wraith, Spark Wraith with Octarine Core cooldown reduction, level 25 cooldown reduction, and an Axe creating 2 of them. Right? It is an absolute nightmare to play against Axe, Octarine, Arc Warden in the late game. Yes, you're all magical damage, but you kite BKBs and force BKBs so easily. And you'll see here, you just want to spam Spark Wraiths. I even think he's not doing it nearly enough. I will say I think his micro here is not great. He should just be fluxing and Spark Wraithing this bristle. Like, there's no reason not to. It costs nothing. So he does do it here. But yeah, you just want to spam your Spark Wraiths. Like, I honestly don't like that he's not using it as much on his main hero. I think he should. Maybe he just feels like, oh, I should stay out of vision, as he was afraid of the snowball there. But yeah, great magnetic field. This is a TI winning magnetic field. Honestly, it's just a really heads up magnetic field here. They're going to go in, try to chip down the Morph, good snowball, right? And they know, hey, they're going to commit on the Visage here. Drops the magnetic field right on the edge. And now all of Bristle's autos and Morphling's autos missing. No MKB, no MKB, you're going to miss. Right? You're going to miss. And the Morphling's like, shit, do I walk in the bubble? Right? So he walks in the bubble, but that costs him like a full 0.5 second of time. Like 0.5 to 1 second of time. If you don't think that's a big deal in late game Dota, that is a massive deal. On top of that, this Marcy who's manning up has giga attack speed, and so does Skeeter inside the bubbles, even if they don't notice it. And the most broken part about these bubbles, if you don't understand, he has his shard, right? He has his shard. If you are in the bubble, you have 40% magic resist. And by the way, they stack on top of each other. So it doesn't give you 80%, but it probably gives you like 50%? You probably have like 70% total magic resist, including your base, if you're in 2 bubbles. It's so good at sieging high ground and saving people. It's insane. This hero scales so well because of these mechanics as well. Like, let's say there's a Zeus. You just bubble your teammate. Zeus doesn't do shit. Doesn't do anything. As we see the Gleipnirs come out. Good Gleipnir onto the Chen, just trying to take him out. Throwing down Spark Wraiths from the back line, right? Spark Wraith, Spark Wraith. Honestly, I don't think he's Spark Wraithing enough. I will say. If there's one thing I don't love about his gameplay, I think he's not using it enough. He should just be spamming it a bit more, as we see him do it there. Because there's no reason not to. It's such high cast range with Octarine Aether Lens that there's no reason not to. Just to zone them out, cancel blinks, chip people down. You know, yeah, cancel blinks is honestly the biggest thing. You just throw it in the trees. The Magnus and the Enigmas can never go in. Right? This is going to clear up the wave. Probably was a little bit afraid of getting smoked on by the Tusk and the Morph, and that's going to be about the end of the game as they just go high ground. Visage Birds go to town. Hex onto the Morphling. And Hex on the Rezo, they take him out. The first time he's actually shown as real hero the entire game as they win game 2. Yeah, just a beautiful performance from 9 on his Arc Warden. It's just a hero that becomes obnoxious in the late game. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see how broken the Axe potentially is. I personally think the Axe is way better than him going Overwhelming Blink. It's about the same cost. I think it's almost nearly the exact same cost of upgrading the Blink. And the damage on the Spark Wraiths when they respawn is crazy, especially with their level 25 talent. It gets nutty. You can't even play the game, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, you basically can't play the game. You have to try to smoke and go around. Otherwise, you'll just get zoned out on your own high ground. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Big fan of Arc Warden. It's a good pub hero, has a pretty good win rate, overall pubs, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!